Hello, I'm John Smith. I'm the Deputy Police and Crime Commissioner. I'm here in South Bristol at Broadby Road, and I'm with Olly Cosgrove, Chief Inspector Olly Cosgrove, who's the District Commander for Bristol South.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Olly. Olly, you were appointed to this role in February. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's a big and important job. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm loving it, thank you. It's Broadby Road's quite a unique place to work. It's also like a small little microclimate of Bristol, really. And there's certainly some challenges and some interesting things to get involved in, but actually at the heart of Broadby Road there's a community that are really proud to live in South Bristol, and it's a really welcoming place to work.
So tell us a bit more, Olly, about the role of Area Commander for South Bristol and how it involves working with local people.
So my role involves looking after the neighbourhood policing team here at Broadby Road. So we've got a number of staff that are all based here, but they work all over South Bristol. And the main part of my role really is to work with our community partners, Bristol City Council and other statutory agencies, to do what we can to improve the life and the outlook for the people of South Bristol.
Excellent. We've had some letters and emails in about antisocial behaviour in the area. Olly, can you say a bit about what you and your teams are doing to attack that?
Certainly, pre-COVID we had some quite high levels of antisocial behaviour, in particular around Morrison's up in Hartcliffe and Newquay Road shops. The COVID pandemic put a bit of a lid on that, if I'm honest, with people having to isolate and stay out the area. And now with the nicer weather and the relaxing of those regulations means that we are starting to see some increases in antisocial behaviour again. But we as the police, we're not going to tackle that on our own. It's not something we can achieve easily on our own. So we work really closely with our partners and charitable organisations, and particularly Bristol City Council, to try and offer people in South Bristol the opportunity to do something a bit different and try and do something that doesn't involve hanging around the local area and outside Newquay Road shops. We have some problem-solving plans in place for the areas of particularly high antisocial behaviour, and we get a lot of help from our other departments around the force, from Operation Remedy and our tactical support teams, to try and deal with some of that antisocial behaviour. But I was in a really interesting meeting the other day, a multi-agency networking meeting where public health, various councils and youth moves and other charitable organisations were talking about the amount of funding they've managed to get for South Bristol, which will offer a real good suite of diversionary activities that we can help people with over the summer period, particularly in the school summer holidays. And that should hopefully help us to alleviate some of those antisocial behaviour problems. But what's really important is that we know about that antisocial behaviour, and if people are worried or concerned about something they're seeing, I just urge them to ring us and talk to us about it.
Okay, thank you. It's great to hear you working with all those other agencies, and that renewed focus on South Bristol is really good to hear about. You mentioned Operation Remedy. I know one of the things they focus on is drugs and knife crime. Can you say a bit more about what you're doing to tackle that in the area?
Yes, certainly. So organised crime and open drug dealing and further afield county lines drug dealing is an issue for all parts of the country, let alone South Bristol. But actually we don't have such a huge county lines problem in South Bristol. A lot of our drug dealing is done locally, so we have a proactive team that particularly target that, and we're working really closely with Operation Remedy to try and identify the main upstream people in that drug dealing network. So we're doing a lot of drugs warrants, we're seizing a lot of drugs from the street, and what really helps us with that is community intelligence, because without community intelligence we can't get to the bottom of that drug dealing problem. So if people don't want to speak to the police directly, I'd urge them to ring Crime Stoppers and pass that information anonymously, and obviously there's some rewards that can, if we get a good conviction on the back of that. But we're taking a really hard line in organised crime, and it's something that we haven't been focusing on too much in South Bristol for a long period of time, and it's something that I'm very keen to tackle and deal with. And we're using a lot of covert opportunities as well to try and get into that the higher echelons of the drug dealing networks, because if we can take out those higher end drug dealers, actually there's less drugs on the streets, there's more opportunity for disruption, and there's more opportunity for us to make this a nicer place to live.
That's good to hear. Well, one of the main reasons I'm here is actually to thank you and your teams for carrying on working through the virus period and the lockdown period. I know it must have been very tough, but I know myself, the Police and Crime Commissioner, and all local people really appreciate what you've done, probably more now than ever. Can you say just a little bit about how things have been in the virus, and any advice as the restrictions are eased?
Sure. It's been a bit of a challenge working in this, working on frontline policing, and my team have been out every day doing their jobs as normal, and we've tried to balance that engagement opportunity with the public where we can, and What we've not wanted to do is use lots of tickets and enforcement, because actually that we find that can be counterproductive. So what we've found is trying to engage with people, let them understand what the regulations are, try and coerce them back home if they're doing things that probably don't quite meet the government guidelines, and we'll use tickets as a last resort really. But what we've seen from the vast majority of people is compliance with that legislation, and that's been really pleasing to see. And as you know, as we relax the regulations a little bit, we just ask people to stick to those government guidelines and do what they can. And you know, we're always here for advice if people need it, and my team will continually be out talking to people and be visible in the community, because that's what people would expect policing to be, and we're always here to help.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Olly. It's been really good hearing about what's happening in South Bristol and the work that you're doing. I am going to be going around and speaking to district commanders across the force area over the next few weeks, so do follow that on social media. I hope you found this interesting. Thanks for tuning in.